I'm Lisa.
I'm Cryss.
And this is Three of Skeins Knit and Crochet Podcast, episode 92. So, do you want to go first today or shall I?
I don't really have anything to say because remember I was supposed to be finishing my t-shirt. I didn't.
Please like and subscribe. It makes Mom really happy.
I didn't even touch this thing. I hate the finishing part and I'm trying to get over it, but it takes me a minute. So it's seamed at the shoulders. Oh, she's pretty though.
She is pretty.
But I still have to do my side seams and stuff. So that's really all that's going on there.
Cool. Well, I did a little experiment this week. I had my swatch from my Crystal tea, and I'd never used this mix of fibers before, and it told me don't put it in the dryer or the washing machine. But I was like, okay, let's see what's going to happen to it, since I had a swatch. So here's my swatch. My swatch still looks pretty sizable, right? Well, I drew an outline on it on a piece of paper before I washed it. And that's the black outline. Let me hold this a little closer. There'll be a good picture later. As you can see, it was pretty straight. And then the red outline is what it was like after I washed and dried it. Not only did it shrink, it started out at 11¼ inches wide by 6 1/8 inches high. It ended up being 11 inches wide and 5¼ inches high. But not only did it do that, if you look carefully at the picture of the outline, it biased. It's no longer straight. So if I do ever put that shirt in the washing machine and the dryer by mistake, it's going to end up being permanently crooked. It's never going to straighten out again. So yeah, follow those directions, okay? So I bought some red ribbon a while ago. I'm going to find my red ribbon and sew a red ribbon inside the shirt just to remind me. You know, sometimes you get in that groove where you just gathering stuff up and you put it in the washing machine. Just as a little reminder so I won't be coming on here all tearful like, you know what happened, guys?
There's no crying in knitting.
There's plenty of crying and knitting. I took a little trip to Joann's today. We had some errands to run. And they are having a sale on sewing notions. So if any of you are Joann's goers, do check it out. So I needed some elastic because the skirt I'm making has an elasticized waistband. So these items are buy 3, get 2 free. And they're pricey enough that if I did buy just 2 or 3, it would cost me more per ball than buying the 5. So it worked out pretty nicely. So now I have a supply of elastic for projects.
How long is that sale going?
I don't know, but it's on now. I'm not sure when it's going to be over, but keep an eye out. Check out.
And it's just sewing notions?
It's just sewing notions. Oh, and the KNC yarn is on sale too, 25% off. But the only ones they had left at my Joann's was the roving style.
Yeah,
That's
interesting in some of that.
But you know what?
People hate roving style yarn.
I think
I love it.
I like the way it's so lofty, but I would have to choose what I make with it very carefully because it's gonna pill.
Yeah, people be worrying about pills. Sweaters have been pilling for centuries. I think it's okay.
That is I don't know if I'd make a whole sweater out of it, but definitely a hat. They're so lofty and soft. But that is my acquisition for the week. I got a bunch of elastic on sale. Oh, and they have a 20% off your total purchase sale and non-sale coupon off right now, too.
Oh, you left that part out.
I just remembered it.
You buried the lead.
I just remembered it. But I couldn't get the coupon.
Oh, on your phone?
No. You know what they do now? They give different people different coupons because Mom got that coupon. And I went to the Joann site and it didn't appear up for me.
Mom might have the app though. They've been doing that. They've been putting their coupons only on the app sometimes, and I'm just like, y'all don't want me to have your coupons, do you?
I know, because I didn't want another app on my phone. God knows my phone has enough apps on it.
Well,
What you trying to say, Crystal?
I just said, well.
Anyway, what's going on with you? I see your fingers are flying.
I'm swatching. So I have a little project. I think I've spoken about this before, but it was like a million years ago. I want to, so basically I have this Japanese Stitch dictionary. Actually, I have the Chinese version of the Japanese Stitch dictionary. I'm not sure how that happened, but here we are. But there's like, except for this part here on the back that says Crochet Patterns Book 300, there is no English to be had anywhere in this book. So all the stitch patterns are diagrams, and I decided to kind of treat this book like a masterclass in crochet diagrams. So I want to swatch, I don't know if I'll swatch like everything, but I want to swatch, you know, a significant portion of this book just to learn how to read stitch diagrams, you know, really thoroughly, so that I'm not limited to written patterns. So to that end, I have purchased these cones from Webs. I have two, this off-white, and then I got this gold color. It's 100% cotton, and it's about, I would say it's like a thicker fingering weight. And right now I think I'm using a 3.75 millimeter hook. And because I want all my swatches to be in the same yarn so that I can really like compare their properties, you know, which one stretches more, things like that. So I just bought like a significant amount of the same yarn so that I can swatch with it. And I also have this book, the Granny Square book. And let me tell y'all, I am sick of granny squares. I'm sick of seeing them everywhere. I'm sick of that hexagon cardigan with the granny stripe. I am sick of granny squares. But this has like 100, literally 100 variations on a granny square. And I think expanding my notion of what a granny square is will be very beneficial to me. So I will also be doing some swatching from this book. And I'll be using this yarn, and I'm very excited about it. It just came today. So
It's like hot.
yeah, that's why I'm like sitting here stitching, because I'm just like, oh, I gotta try it. It's a mercerized cotton, so it's got kind of like a almost like a satiny finish. It's very soft, and it's not gonna have, you know how cotton can be a little fuzzy sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not gonna have that issue. I don't know if I can make this focus. There you go. So this is my first little swatch that I am working on. And so far I'm really liking working with this, and I feel like this could maybe be a garment. Like I think I would use this to actually crochet a garment. It's got a nice heft to it. And this is the heavier one that I got. So this is actually sold for like weaving. And so they use a notation for the weight of the yarn that I was unfamiliar with. So this said 3/2, but it's also like the equivalent of a number 3 crochet thread. So it's like the heaviest weight of crochet thread. So still, you know, a rather fine yarn, but the heaviest of it, like its class. They also have a 5/2, and they also had like the tencel version, and they had, I think it was a mix of tencel and wool or something. They had other fibers. So if you want like some bang for your buck, you might want to consider a cone. And unfortunately, Webs was having a sale that ends today. So by the time you guys see this video, the sale will have ended. But I did get a slight discount. But if I were to buy one of these cones and like make a garment out of it, I'd have a really cheap garment.
You sure would.
So I will be keeping an eye out for future sales and maybe checking out some more. Oh, and lots and lots and lots of colors. They had at least 20 colors. So
Spoiled for choice.
check out cones. It took me a while to decide.
I know it did.
Because I wanted light colors, and then but I still wanted some contrast, and it was the whole thing. It took me a minute to figure it out. But if you're just picking a color you like, you should have no trouble.
And how many yards come on a comb?
1,200 and something, I think.
Yeah, so that's a
At this
quantity.
weight, so you know, the lighter it gets, the more yardage you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So
How much did the comb cost?
23.
That's a sweater's worth.
Yeah.
For $23.
So cones might be my new thing.
And it does sit up very nicely on the table.
I know. Oh my gosh,
I was
it's not
looking at
rolling
that.
around. Yeah.
I was looking at that. I was like, oh, that's nice.
They sell these stands though that you can put your cone on and
Yeah.
loop the yarn through it. And I might, if I do get into cones, I might get one of those because that seems very convenient. Except you don't use that at home. That wouldn't be like
that's
a
not
project you could travel with, but still be worth it, I think. But yeah, that's what I've got going on.
I'm a little busy right now.
Yeah.
You see what happened was.
Always a good start.
Okay, so this started when I was uploading our last week's video. Those of you who make videos, you know how it is. Sometimes your video uploads in 15, 20 minutes, and other times, for no reason that you can discern, it takes hours to upload. And I decided, since it was one of those days, I was just going to sit there and make sure it actually uploaded, because sometimes, you know, you think, oh, it's going fine. And you go to bed or go away and no luck. And my knitting project was all the way downstairs, and I didn't feel like
You said all the way.
It was all the way downstairs, and I was
Okay.
upstairs. But my stash was right across the room. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but earlier in the year, I had just made up a whole bunch of sock kits out of, you know, I had paired up my yarn and all of that. So I was able to just walk over to my stash, grab a baggie, and there was a sock ready to go. And I had just been reading this book I bought, Knit 2 Socks in 1 by Safiyyah Talley, the drunk knitter. And I decided, oh, I'm going to try this method out because I've never made socks like that. But this is the book, Knit 2 Socks in 1. This book was so hard to look up because I didn't realize I had to use the numbers.
What number?
The number 2 and the number 1.
Oh, you wrote out the word.
Yeah, I did. And then I didn't know how to spell her name. So I was lost for a while there.
Okay, sweetie.
So I decided to go for it. So I pulled out these, and I like my socks to be kind of seasonal. So these are going to be my Halloween socks. This is Patton's Croy Stripes, and it's called Bramble Stripes. Colorway 1503. And the cuffs, heels, and toes, I have a pigtail of Oink Pigments yarn, and it's called, this colorway is called It's People. Yeah.
I get it. That's funny.
And I'm using Safiyyah's method for knitting 2 socks in 1. What I had forgotten, I haven't made myself a pair of socks in ages, and I had forgotten how soothing just knitting round and round and round and round is. And I haven't wanted to put these socks down since Sunday when I cast them on. And every chance I get, I'm putting on another round.
What does this mean for your skirt, Lisa?
Not a thing, because I'm still working on my skirt.
Okay.
So I cast these on from the, now I'm trying to follow her method since it's the first time I'm doing it, so I'm following it exactly. I'll start playing around with it after the first sock though. So it's cuffed down, and I'm a committed toe-up sock maker, so I was a little uncomfortable at first starting from the cuff. And I'll tell you why I start from the toe. Because the method I use when I start toe up, I don't ever have to make a swatch first for making a sock. I fit the toe to my foot model, and my foot model informs the number of stitches I need in that particular yarn. So I started my sock from the top down on size 0 needles. And when I finish the cuff, I like my cuff to be about 1.5 inches or so. And when I do it toe up, I just make it the same height as the toe. And then I switched over to US 1s, and I knit the body in a US 1. And I love, It's so addictive. I love watching the colors change. And it's some simple-minded pleasure, but it's pleasure nevertheless. I love that the stripes are different widths, so I'm never sure what width the stripe is going to be. And I've just inserted the first lifeline, because what you're going to do in this method is knit one long sock and then separate it into 2 socks. So I think that's
so that like you're gonna like cut like you're sneaking or something.
Yeah, I'm going to cut through the extra lifeline rows.
I literally can't watch videos of people cutting their knitting. I don't know. I get like a weird secondhand anxiety.
You know what though? I was telling Mom, I found this really great article where this one was describing how you can cut crochet things to make repairs. You just cut out the part that went bad, recrochet it, and go on with your bad self.
I've seen people do that, and I'm like,
I think it's a skill.
You know those commercials for the paper towel where there's a spill headed towards your electronics, and everyone's like, no. Yeah, that.
But I think it's a skill everybody should pick up, even if it's not something you do all the time.
Yeah,
because
I think about that, but
sometimes, you know, you see the mistake and it happens so far back, and you have to reduce so much to rubble that if you were able to just cut it out.
I can just put an applique over it.
True that.
I would just, you know, pretend it wasn't there, not like try to fix it. If it's that far back, I've been living with it so long.
I mean, it worked for me. But so these will be my zombie socks. That's what I'm going to call them. There's going to be a little zombie on the side, but other than that, that's all there is to it. And I don't know why these colors scream zombie to me, but for some reason this color combination is zombie Halloween as far as I'm concerned. Maybe in a past life I was from New Orleans, I don't know.
Let's take a turn. So how's your official project going?
My official project is actually going rather well.
So have you tried it on again since you resized it?
Yeah. It's so much better. It's not hula hoop anymore. I'm like, oh my God.
Now that the fabric touches you?
Yes. In all the right ways. So I've got the entire waistband area done on my skirt. This skirt is the, what is it called?
Was it some sort of flute skirt?
Yeah, trumpet skirt. It's a trumpet skirt from...
It was an instrument.
Yeah. It's the trumpet skirt from the book Knitting Lingerie Style by Joan McGowan-Michael. Absolutely love the book and love how the yarn is working up. So what it has is a folded over hem along the top. So when I'm done, I will be folding this over and inserting the elastic here, which I have now at a discount. Yay. And I've started the body of the skirt. So you're actually going to see about this much of the garter stitch area, and the rest of it is in stockinette with just like a little eyelet detail going down. And right now this is also a lot of round and round and round. Stockinette in the round, so I'm just knitting, and every once in a while I have to remember to do an eyelet.
Are you increasing for the main body of the skirt, or not
No.
until the flare at the bottom?
I only needed to do one increase after the garter stitch, and that's because there's a major gauge difference between the garter and the stockinette, so that sort of balanced it out. And now I need to do 10 inches of just this, and then I will start growing the skirt again for the bottom. I wound up some yarn. What I've been doing is taking 3 skeins, winding it onto a paper tube, and just knitting until it's done, and then I wind off 3 skeins again. And I may have slandered this yarn the first time I had to wind it. I had such a terrible time winding one of the first
Sometimes
skeins.
it's just that one skein.
hallelujah. So far, it really has just been that one skein because most of this is 3 skeins. And what's on here is another 3 skeins. And I just did not have that agonizing winding experience that I had before.
We've all been there.
And it's no fun whatsoever. So those are my 2 projects, and it was so funny. Apparently my eye is tuned to certain shades of green because here I am. Now I bought this yarn. This yarn is deep stashed. I've had this yarn for years. And this yarn is brand new, but as you can see, there are some similarities. I do have a suggestion for you. I keep 2 cones of crochet cotton. Well, not cones, but I don't know what to call these, but 2 balls of crochet cotton around. And that's what I do on my lifelines with. I have one that's red and one that's black. The black goes into light colors, the red goes into dark colors. And there's so much on each ball that you'll get the 2 colors that you need and use them for years. It's pretty awesome.
So I'm playing around, with my swatching. And, part of me is like, does it make sense to just swatch when you're not like swatching for a specific project? But I think it does, because as I'm working this swatch, I'll show it to you in a second. This has little, I almost had it. Well, it's got pointy edges. Well, I'll put a picture in. We'll just have to put pictures in because obviously we don't know how to
It's too hard.
But it's got like a scalloped edge. Yeah. And I probably wouldn't have noticed that just from the picture in the book, but it's got me thinking that if I use this stitch pattern, I might actually turn it sideways. So there's almost like a striping effect happening, and those stripes would end up being horizontal, and then my top and bottom edge of whatever I made would have the scallops.
Yeah.
And without just playing with the swatch, I wouldn't have thought, oh, turn it sideways. So I'm curious to see, how my swatching project goes and how I start to think about using yarn differently just from playing around with yarn and stitch patterns without having a specific project in mind.
Right.
What I'm hoping will come of this is that I will have this like library of stitch patterns that I've already done, so that when I want to make something like, oh, I want something closed weave, here's a stitch pattern I can use. Oh, I want something with stretch to it, I can use that stitch pattern. I'm hoping it'll just give me kind of a basic familiarity now with how different stitches behave, so I can use that when I'm designing garments.
I think that makes a lot of sense. How are you planning to store your swatches?
I'm probably just going to use some rings.
Yeah.
And put like maybe 10 or so at a time on each ring and label it, and just, hang the rings up somewhere.
Also, you know what? Consider a notebook so that notes like this you can jot down in a notebook.
The notebook gets bulky though.
Like a 3-ring binder.
Yeah, but it's gonna, once it fills up with swatches, I don't know. I was thinking rings.
But you want somewhere that you can keep your notes so that you don't have to figure that out every time.
No, what I would do is put hole punch and index card and have my notes, so it'll be one swatch, one index card, one swatch, one index card, and have that all together.
That's cool.
That's the plan, but plans sometimes they go sideways, but we'll see.
I do like having a secondary project that's not at all demanding, that I can actually sit here and talk to you and work on at the same time, because
you always like having multiple projects.
I do. It's just
it's
my nature. That's how I roll. But this is so undemanding that I don't even have to remember to make an eyelet every once in a while. So I'm probably going to have some socks lurking around because I've been wanting to do some socks. And I just dipped into my stash, and just grabbing out this baggie was wonderful. And you know, I have more baggies in there with yarn already paired up and ready to go. So you'll be seeing some more socks out of me. We are getting ready to go to
the Jersey Shaver World.
It's going to be what, September 9th?
9th and 10th.
9th and 10th, yep. So, have you thought more about what all it is you want to get?
Look, what that guy say? Everybody has a plan until they get hit in the face. The boxer. Once I get hit in the face by yarn, who knows what's gonna happen? Because you get there and you see all there is to see, and you get so overwhelmed. And at least I do. I get excited. I'm just like, I want all the things. So, do I have a plan? Sure. The plan is one. I'm really like looking for non-wool options just because I have so much wool. I have plenty of wool to make all the things right now. I'm really hoping to find some silk. That would be like, you know.
That'd be a coup because I'm trying to even think if I've seen
right?
silk.
And like you'll find stuff that has like some silk in it, but I'm hoping for something that's at least 50% silk, if not 100%. Doesn't have to be hand dyed. Last year, there were these people though who had these wool bags that were like felted and they were really cute, and I didn't buy one. And I'm hoping they'll be back this year because I'm definitely gonna get one. They're just cute little like pocketbooks, but they were made out of wool, and I was like, they're so cute. But by the time I saw them last year, I already had like a lot of yarn in my hand.
Yeah.
But
you know what? We need to make the promise this year to do a little walkthrough first, just to get the lay of the land.
Once again,
yeah,
that's the plan.
I know, and it's like, yeah, give me 2 of those,
right? So we'll see.
I don't know what specifically I'm looking for. Like you said, I have a lot of wool. I have just gotten a little bit into tinsel, so if I see some tinsel, I will probably get that. I would love some silk, but I don't hold out a lot of hope for seeing silk. And I'm considering maybe getting a little alpaca.
I also want some worsted weight yarn because I absolutely in love with fingering weight, and I feel like I feel uncertain about how to design in worsted weight yarn because I usually just like those lighter fabrics. But I want to like challenge myself to make something in worsted weight that doesn't feel too bulky, or if it is, I want the bulkiness to be part of the design. You know, I want that to be intentional. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like the funny thing is, because shopping at craft stores, I was buying almost exclusively worsted weight yarn, but I was also working from other people's patterns. Right. I just don't want to handicap myself in terms of, you know, being able to design in lots of different types of yarns, you know, fibers, weights. So I might be keeping an eye out for some worsted weight. We'll see.
I am considering doing, I'll tell you the truth. Doing this skirt has kind of whet my appetite for some more skirts. So I think what I want to do is for this winter, I want to make at least one skirt and sweater set because I do enjoy dressing that way. And it's probably going to be super comfortable.
I want to make a sweater dress. I love like my store-bought sweater dresses, and I want to try making one. I made like, you know, like lighter weight dresses for summer, but I kind of want to make something like maybe with a cable pattern or something. So that's what I'm thinking in terms of like fall winter garments.
Yeah. Do you think that a sweater dress might be something you consider making out of worsted weight, or would
Maybe.
that be too heavy?
I don't know. You really don't know until you swatch. So we'll see.
I saw this pattern. I will try to look it up again and see if I can find it for you guys to link to it. But this woman knitted a sweatsuit. It was a cute sweatshirty type of sweater and really cute joggers. And I was like, I like what you're thinking, lady. I don't know if I would ever make it, but it runs across my mind.
Did she put like a zipper in the hoodie?
Oh, she didn't make a hoodie. She made just like a casual sweatshirt, but it fit her really nicely. And I was like, I never even considered such a thing.
Yeah, like that, you know, where my head is like with the pajamas. I just want to like branch out and make different kinds of things. And for a long time, I've been thinking about a cloak. And I'm like, what am I even going to do with a cloak? It's 2023. But I've seen some cute ones. And I'm just like, it could happen.
You could just walk across the moors in it. We do have a tiny set of moors down the road. I don't want a cloak, but I do kind of imagine myself doing a knitted coat. And I'm like, imagine if you have a knitted coat and it has its own matching knitted skirt.
My cloak go for my sweater dress. Girl. We have to go someplace really cold though.
Yes,
if it was all wool.
Because we'd be toasted. We'd be okay.
But yeah, I'm just kind of, I don't want to just make sweaters. You know what I mean? I feel like you can get stuck in that mode. And so I've specifically been trying to branch out. So I've made some dresses now. I've made a couple of skirts. But I feel like there are new vistas to conquer. And I'm so excited.
So I've been sort of doing a little bit of research on different shapes of skirts that I think would be easy to knit. And
can't go wrong with A-line.
Yeah,
A-line and pencil.
Yeah, pencil is one, and apparently when it's done in knitted fabric, it's just a tube skirt. So I've worked out how to do a tube skirt. I mean, in terms of where I want to do my increases and decreases and whatnot to make the shape that I want to make, how flared it should be or how close it should be depending on it. And basically, I'm going to write a blog post about this. I'm just giving you guys a preview. But basically, what is the shape that I'm trying to make in my knitted fabric? Do I want to do it in all in one piece, or do I want to do it seamed? And I'm thinking that for like an A-line skirt, I might actually want to do that seamed.
Yeah, that's how I did mine.
But for the tube skirt and just a regular straight skirt, I would do those in the round. But just knowing that, I feel so much more comfortable just branching out, picking a stitch pattern, and making a skirt. So look out, there will be skirts this winter.
Are you still planning to make stockings?
I'm thinking about it. Now that I'm making skirts, yeah, I might need some stockings. But I would probably make stockings in a sport weight yarn to wear with boots. Because my normal US 0s and 1s, a stocking would take eons. And then I'd have to make that other one.
You really think you would take that long?
Yes. Look at the size of my stitches.
Yeah, but when it was done, you have like this beautiful fabric.
Oh yeah, the fabric is lovely on this. But I think it would take a minute. And I would like them to be up over the knee.
This is so cool.
Thigh highs.
Yeah. Project Swatch has begun.
Uh-oh. Look at you, so happy.
I am
making swatches.
I am.
The
Taking
way-
a break from like making an actual thing and just,
We've all railed against making swatches. Did you ever picture yourself just making swatches?
You know what? It wasn't that I was ever opposed to making the swatches. I just didn't understand what they were for, because I would make my swatch, but I would still pick one of the sizes in the pattern and do that number of stitches.
And just pick a winner.
There was no relationship.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
There was no relationship between the swatch and the project. So I would literally make the swatch and be like, meh, and then just start.
Set it aside so you could get started really
So
working.
because I didn't understand their utility, I wasn't anti-swatch. I was just kind of like baffled by them. But yeah, now I understand
Now you're
swatching so much better.
fully on board.
Yes. It was never personal. It was just like, why am I doing
Why am I doing this?
this? But why did you do it?
So, for those of you who don't know what that
we can tell the
refers to,
story.
I'm going to tell the story. I'm a fan of Outlander, the books and the show. And Jamie Dornan was on this talk show one time, and they had this woman come up who had made, was it Jamie Dornan?
No, he wasn't an Outlander though. It was 50 Shades.
Oh, sorry, 50 Shades of Grey guy.
Yes.
Who is that? I don't know who that is. But anyway, whoever the guy was that was in 50 Shades of Grey, this woman came up and she had won a contest where she had made a life-size cake of him.
Let's be clear though. Life-size cake of him in one of the 50 Shades movies. Mm-hmm. So if his character, I guess, had just come out of the shower. So he was just wearing jeans, no shirt, and he had a towel around his neck. Life-size.
Life-size. And it's a cake. So I could see, we can both see this question playing across his
whole
face.
face was telling a story.
Yeah,
Like, on the one hand, I don't want to offend, but on the other hand, I got to know.
I have to know.
So after struggling with himself mightily, he finally says to the woman, "But why did you do it?" As he's standing there next to the cake of himself. It turns out she had been in some sort of baking competition, and she had actually baked the entire red room. I guess he had some sort of chamber d'amour. And so she did the wall, she did all of his toys and stuff, and he was just like part of that whole set. And that was why she had baked him.
Yeah, but her response was so funny because she looked at him like, look, I ain't crazy.
So anytime we're like particularly confused by something, we'll go, but why did you
do it? That's what we say now.
These are things I feel like we don't have to tell people. But here we are. I feel like this is a good place to wrap it up, because we almost got through this completely normal.
Yeah.
And then we didn't.
Well, what can you do?
So, see you guys.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to cut this out here and put it at the front. But please like and subscribe. It makes Mom really happy.
We never remember. Okay.
And you know what? I'm not even going to cut this out. I'm just going to leave it in so you know how it really went down.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Stay stitching.